Hi everyone, we are the Migration Center team again, and we'd like to welcome you to our 2 days webinar with the topic Fix Incomplete Metadata or Enrich Your Data Quality During a Migration Project. Before we start, let me quickly explain you our mandatory housekeeping slide. Please note that during the whole session, all attendees have to be muted. In case you have any questions, please enter them into the question panel on your right side. We will answer them in our dedicated Q&A session at the end of this webinar. Please also note that this webinar is being recorded and that we will share it with you once we have it processed after this session. Now let me introduce you our 2 day speakers. First, we have Florian Piaszek-Hensen, Director of Products at FME, and our second speaker is going to be Hanna Dehunova, Associate Consultant at FME. Now I'd like to hand over to our first speaker, Florian.
Yeah, thank you, Valerie, for the introduction, and welcome everyone, wherever you are, to this new webinar. So it's about a very interesting topic, I believe. So many customers having this challenge during migration projects, and let's say, yeah, there's a really common use case for that, or a common scenario for that. So today we like to talk about a certain topic. So first of all, I like to give you a very short overview about FME and Migration Center for all who are not familiar with our product. So, and then we will go into the topic with our new Amazon Comprehend module, the use cases we address, what exactly the capabilities of our integration, and a little bit about Amazon Comprehend itself. So to get a better feeling what kind of capabilities Amazon Comprehend provides and how you can use this kind of capabilities within the migration project. So then we will talk a little bit about our services we provide in this context. And at the end, yeah, as Valerie mentioned, we will have a Q&A session, and in between there will be a short, really quick product demo just to show you how you can use this additional metadata generated by Amazon Comprehend for your migration project. So, and with this, let me start with the first slide about FME. So we're at FME helping our customers with all topics and challenges around digital transformation. We are very specialized in the life science industry, in the manufacturing industry, as well as in the finance industry, but we're also helping customers in many, many other industries globally. So typically we provide consulting services. We have customers in the conception phase. We do development, maintenance, and also we provide and develop products. So our main, let's say, focus in terms of technologies is enterprise content management. That's the biggest part of the company. So then we're also helping customers with business intelligence, with cloud topics, social collaboration, and we're also helping customers with custom software development. So FME itself, it's founded in 1995. So in Germany, the headquarters is in Brunswick, which is almost in the northern part of Germany, and we have offices around across Germany, and also we have 2 subsidiaries in the United States and in Romania. At the moment, we are almost 280 employees worldwide, and with a revenue of around 30 million euros last year. So that's just a short overview about FME. I will not go too much into details here. So let's focus on the main topic for today, everything around the migration. So yeah, FME developed a quite large portfolio when it comes to content migration or enterprise content management migration. So we're helping customers not just with our product, but also with our services, especially in complex migration scenarios. And additionally, we also help customers when they need to consolidate repositories or applications or platforms, but also when it comes to a retirement scenario like decommissioning of whatever outdated legacy applications. So we have a really broad portfolio to reduce the cost and manage risk, increase the productivity, and especially also fasten the go live of the new ECM applications. And with our experience and all our product elements and service elements, we believe we can help customers to reduce the cost by 60% and the project duration by about 80%. So compared to other products or frameworks or tools in the market. So with our portfolio, with our product, we address different kind of use cases. So we have done over 1,000 projects at about 500 customers worldwide over the last 16 years. That's not just in Germany, but also really globally. So we have customers on all continents right now. So, and we're especially focusing on scenarios around migration. So that means that can be, for example, a simple migration from a legacy system to a new ECM platform. That's topics around cloud onboarding. So that means on-prem to cloud migrations, cloud to cloud migrations, for example. That's also one topic we address. But also we're focusing on consolidation integration scenarios. So that means whenever customers find themselves in a situation where they have tons of different, let's say, applications within the enterprise, and they need to consolidate those platforms or also the repositories or data silos. And also we're helping customers, especially in scenarios like mergers and acquisitions, to integrate external data and documents into the existing standard ECM application. We also help customers with rollouts. So that means we are able to help customers to, let's say, to onboard file shares into a new ECM application, but also get rid of third-party products or platforms. The same for decommissioning and retirement. So that means we have a dedicated team and product components which allows customers to decommission or retire any kind of legacy applications or ECM platforms. Archiving, it's another area we address in terms of use cases. So that means really, let's say, help customers to archive files from file shares, emails, help them with backup and recovering of repositories. And we have a couple of other use cases we address, like test data management, time schedule, batch import. So that means a kind of regular import. So we're helping customers to publishing documents from one enterprise content management system to other, whatever, SharePoint portals or other platforms like this. And that's the use cases we like to talk today about. So that's the reclassification of content objects and metadata enrichment and cleansing of metadata. So these two use cases are not new. So for us, so we have plenty of different, let's say, capabilities within our product, which helps customers to manage the challenges within such use cases. But with our new module, with our new integration of Amazon Comprehend, we are able to provide much more value during a migration project than we did before. So, but first of all, let me answer a question which our customers are frequently asking. And it's about why should they use Migration Center instead of developing scripts or developing their own tool to manage the migration. So first of all, Migration Center is really 100% out of the box. It's not just a product, and we call it Content Migration Platform, because there's no scripting and no programming effort needed. So it's very proven technology. It's proven in more than 500 customers and thousands of projects worldwide. And we are quite long on the market with this product, and that's since 2005. So it's almost over 16 years on the market now. And why I'm called it platform? It's quite simple, because we're providing more than 220 different migration passes for multiple platforms. So source and target platforms. In addition to that, we have a couple of capabilities which makes our product unique. So for example, we have capabilities which allows customers to migrate migrations without any downtime. So that means during the migration, your business processes are not affected by the migration. So your people, your users, your employees can still work with the applications. So there's no interruption of the daily business processes, and also we provide a lot of capabilities for transforming, enrich, clean, and standardize metadata during the migration process. So that means Migration Center is not a tool which do just a one-by-one migration. So during the migration process, you can let's say, add a lot of additional value through your documents, through your objects, by, let's say, restructuring your metadata, enrich your metadata, clean metadata, and so on and so forth. So in addition, a very important topic, because we're having a lot of customers in the life science industry, is the integrity of the data and the real auditable migration process. So as you can see here, so about 90% of the top 10 and 60% of the top 50 life science or pharmaceutical companies using our technology today. So the product is made for high volume. That's very important. So we're, let's say, successfully complete migrations up to 800 million of records just in a very short time frame. And also, as I mentioned before, so we provide services as well, not just by FME, but also by our selected partners. And those partners help our customers globally in different countries to manage the challenges of a complex content migration project. So our main goal is really to make complex migration projects predictable for our clients. So just to have a short overview about the product itself, just to understand how the product looks like, or what kind of components we have in place for our customers. So first of all, we have a Windows client. This client, by the way, will be replaced within the next couple of weeks by our new web UI. But in general, it's the same set of capabilities for the Windows client as well as for the web client. So it is the control center for all the migration phases, jobs, and processes. So there's nothing else you need. So you can configure all different steps, all the jobs, everything just via this UI. So then there is a central database in the middle. This database consists of business logic and all performance critical processes. And last but not least, there is the job server, which is more or less the home for all our connectors to the different systems. So as I mentioned, we have over 220 different migration passes. So when I say migration pass, I mean always the combination from source to target. It could be, for example, file system to SharePoint, or whatever, documentum to open text content server, doesn't matter. So we have almost more than 220 different combinations out of the box ready for you. So, and in addition, last but not least, I just want to mention that so whenever we have or you have systems involved in the migration project which are not part of our out-of-the-box portfolio, so we build an API and framework around our product, which allows you to customize or to build your own connectors, or let us or our partners build these connectors to achieve the goals of your migration project. Okay, so what are the outstanding capabilities? As I mentioned, so we are very strong in transforming, map, enrich, clean, and data. So we provide secure and manage, we have options to secure and manage large volumes. So we have capabilities within our product which allows you to real-time simulate and test all your, let's say, your processes, all your transformation models before you're committing the data to the target system. This helps you to, let's really avoid a lot of mistakes during the import, because you can see the results of your migration and the new metadata before you commit the data to the target system. That's pretty helpful. So yeah, multiple systems already mentioned. So we support plenty of source and target systems. We have a predefined and auditable migration process in place. So migration center and also the client will follow this this process, but I will give you some more details about that later on. So what we also provide is all the different migration approaches. So that means, for example, the data migration, big bang, step by step, or division by division. So that's all supported by our product. We prevent the data integrity. So we do that, for example, by calculating hash keys for every single content file to make sure that they are not changed during the migration process. And we log all the information within our history database so that you can use that information to, for example, in the life science industry, to create the validation documentation at the end of a migration project. So, and then, yeah, we also provide capabilities like in place, my upgrade or migration. So that means some customers have the, let's say, the need to upgrade an existing repository and fix some missing metadata, for example. So we have capabilities for that as well. And last but not least, as I mentioned already, so there is the open architecture or open connectivity architecture in place, which is the framework and the API, which allows us to nearly, let's say, add any kind of systems to our connector list based on that API. Okay, that's all about Migration Center, just to give you a very short overview about our product. But now let's talk about the main topic of today. So in many cases, or that's what we learned over the last 16 years, migration projects can be very painful and expose many different challenges. Whether you use a product like Migration Center or not, this doesn't matter. But one of the main challenges refers to the metadata and the classification of unstructured content, like Office documents, PDF documents, image files, whatsoever. And typically within the source systems, it could be a file share or a Documentum system or SharePoint system, doesn't matter. So the metadata are often incomplete, incorrect, or simply does not exist in the source system. So, but the question is how you can solve this issue. I mean, it makes no sense to migrate a totally unstructured file system to an enterprise content management system without having any context, so that without having metadata in place. And that's exactly the challenge we address with our integration. So we are using, as I mentioned, Amazon Comprehend, which is a natural language processing services provided by Amazon. And what we're trying to do is we help customers to classify or enrich metadata. Doesn't matter if the documents are structured or unstructured or stored in a structured way, like in the document management system. So we can integrate, let's say, this service into any kind of migration project to create additional value in terms of meaningful metadata for our customers. So, but what are the use cases typically we see for this Amazon Comprehend model, or in general for natural language processing? So first of all, when customers trying to merge or consolidate enterprise content management repositories, so we are able to help them to harmonize and enrich the metadata. So as I mentioned, so file share onboarding is a very, let's say, common use case, because typically in the file share you have a lot of unstructured data. Maybe you have some folder structures which you can use to generate new metadata, but in general it's very they are typically not available to create really meaningful metadata, and we can provide a solution for that with our Amazon Comprehend module. Also, e-discovery is another topic which we would like to address. So we have plenty of customers who, let's say, having a lot of documents in different systems, but they are still somehow unstructured or not formalized or standardized for e-discovery purposes. So, and with our module, you're able to generate, say, information from all those different unstructured or semi-structured content. Yeah, then there's another use case, for example. So you can also use our module to increase the quality of search results and metadata, as I mentioned, during the migration process, or just simply to archive file shares and generate, let's say, a context for the archiving system based on metadata. That's all the typical, let's say, different use cases we address. And of course, also we can help you to increase or enhance the information quality of general or, of course, industry-specific applications. But I will give you some more details about this topic on the upcoming slides. Okay, but before we start, let's say with the topic of how to use Amazon Comprehend within the migration process, I just want to make sure that you understand the general process which has been implemented in our product, and it's always follow the same steps. Every migration project, doesn't matter what source system or what target system is involved. So it starts always with an analyze and extracting phase. So that means with our product, we're connecting through the source system, and we're extracting all the content and all the necessary information like metadata, access rights, folder structures, etc., from the source system. And within this phase, after this initial scan or this let's say extraction phase, you can analyze the information. You can have a look through the metadata and then check what kind of metadata are available. If there is there any options to generate meaningful metadata during the migration process later on. So you can really analyze all the pieces. So, and if you're done with this first phase, the second phase is to organize your migration. Typically, if we're talking about millions of records, it's very hard to manage those mass data, especially for humans. So, and within the organization phase, you're able to create, let's say, manageable sets based on certain, let's say, selection criteria. So it could be on metadata, on the creation date, whatsoever. So you can build migration sets, as we call them. So that's the organizational unit within the product. You can build these sets individually. Let's say depends on your requirements and on the structure you like to use. So that means in this case, for example, there could be a set migration set of marketing documents, of sales related documents, or you have one set with documents which are older than 5 years, and so on and so forth. So if you're done with the organization phase, so the next step would be to transform and map the metadata from the source system to the target system. So, and here we provide a lot of transformation and mapping capabilities. So you can nearly do everything with Migration Center just by configuration without scripting or programming, which you can do typically with a normal programming language. So, but everything is configuration. So it means you can combine different functions or different mapping tables and so on to generate new metadata, or just, let's say, standardized metadata, or enrich, of course. So, and as you can see here on that little picture, so we have let's say extracted object, and we transform that object with new metadata. Before, the permission was all, now it's just BU6. So we mapped the division name from MKT to marketing, and so on and so forth. So, and if you're done with the transformation and mapping phase, which can be executed within our product without, as I mentioned, committing the data to the target system. So the next phase will be the validate phase. And within the validate phase, Migration Center automatically check all the metadata based on a, let's say, object model you provide. And we check, for example, the type of the value. It is a string, a numeric, it's a date. Does the, let's say, length exceeded somehow, and so on and so forth. So all main issues during an import will be automatically checked before you start the import to the system, and that avoids, of course, a lot of errors during the import phase, of course. So, and if you find some errors, like for example, you can see here that's date, it's ABC, so that's not the date, it's a string. So automatically Migration Center will show this error within our client, and you can then go into the correction phase and change your transformation model, set some default values, or just fix the transformation here at this point. So, and last but not least, if all documents are correct and then a validated state, so you can start the import based on the migration steps to the different systems. So that's the basic process. And now I'd like to show you where Amazon Comprehend come into the game. So, and that's during the analyze and extract phase. So, and to explain how it works, let's start first of all with the key capabilities of the integration. I separated the key capabilities from Amazon Comprehend and our integration because I would like to show what the integration does and what Amazon Comprehend does for you. So first of all, we have for Amazon Comprehend, for our module, we have a 100% out-of-the-box integration. So we support several endpoints like entity recognition, language detection, custom classifiers, but also we analyze and OCR Office documents like Word, Excel, PowerPoint, PDFs. So we are able to extract the information or the content from images, but also from embedded images, for example, in a Word document. And this whole module is fully integrated in our migration process. So it means you have the full traceability during the whole migration process, and that's very important to process a legal and audit compliance migration. And also because, as you know, you have to pay for the Amazon Comprehend services, of course. We have also simulation mode within our product, which allows you to calculate and estimate the cost beforehand. So, and last but not least, that's coming soon. I just want to mention that here, our Comprehend module will also support Amazon Comprehend Medical, which is probably an interest of healthcare companies or life science companies. So this will come soon within the next weeks. So it's not available right now. At the moment, we're just supporting the standard Amazon Comprehend, but we are working currently on the integration for Amazon Comprehend Medical as well. So, but what are the key capabilities of Amazon Comprehend we support? So first of all, as I mentioned, Amazon Comprehend is a natural processing or language processing services which use machine learning to uncover information from unstructured data. So that's the main purpose. So and there are different elements which we integrate within our product, and the first one is the entity recognition. So the entity recognition allows you to return, let's say, specific entities like people, places, location, organization, etc., etc. And this is done automatically, so based on the provided content. So then also one very important feature of Amazon Comprehend is the language detection. So we have a certain customer out there which ask us frequently if we are able to detect the language of documents, because some customers are global enterprises with different language within the company. So, and for example, if they are trying to migrate a file share, they want to know what kind of language is used in the different documents. So then there's another one, it's called custom entities. So in this service, or this allows you to customize your, let's say, your specific terms or your specific terms in your specific domain. The same is for the customer classification. So customer classification enables you to build your own custom content classification model by using your business-specific labels. So I will show you how that works later on within the demo, because we prepared a couple of scenarios here. So we used the entity recognition in the demo, we used the language detection in the demo, and also we used the custom classification to create specific, let's say, labels for specific FME purposes. So, and last but not least, Amazon Comprehend Medical, who's not familiar with that, so just a few words about this one. So this is a special natural language processing services which is able to extract health data from, for example, doctor notes, clinical trial reports, or patient health records. So that means you are able to extract whatever the age of a person. You can extract the medication, the product or the drug which has been used, and so on and so forth. So that's all possible with Amazon Comprehend Medical. Okay, so yeah, but how does, or let's say, how does this module fits into the migration process? Just to make sure that you understand how it works. So we, let's say, simplify the migration process a bit for you. So we have on the left-hand side the source system. Then, as I mentioned, we have the analyze and extract phase, which we call scan process or scanning phase. We have all the transformation, organization, validation, and correction phase within our product. And then last but not least, we have the process of importing the documents to the target. And the module, as I said, is implemented in the first step. So that means you can first of all use the standard connectors to extract the information from any kind of systems. Could be file system, Documentum, SharePoint, whatsoever. So, and then as you can see here on that slide, you will have a document. In this case, it's a PDF document, the source document. So, and within this process, Migration Center extract the text, as I mentioned, from different file formats, but also from embedded images and other images, of course. So we're extracting the text, and then we upload the text to the Amazon S3 storage and execute the dedicated Amazon Comprehend jobs to generate the additional metadata. And the result will be a new attribute and the score or confidence. So that means, as you can see here on the slide, we have a type, a company, and a product. And the type is a quote, the company is FME AG, and the product is Migration Center. But you can also see the score and the confidence. So that means the system, or Amazon Comprehend in this case, has a confidence of 93% that this document is a quote, 92% that the quote is about FME AG, and just 51% confidence that it is related to product Migration Center. So that's the information you get after this, executing our Amazon Comprehend module. So, but what's next? So how do you work with this new information generated by the content based on Amazon Comprehend? So within the transformation rules, I said, you can set up different transformation rules, mappings, and so on. And for example, you can use this information, so that means the new value plus the confidence, for example, to set up a rule which says, always when the confidence is above 90%, you will use the attribute for this document in the target system. And if it's below 90%, we will set, for example, the value to unknown. And the result will be that the object type is a proposal. The customer name is FME AG. The product name is unknown because it's below 90%. And the content type, of course, is a PDF. So that's, for example, an option how to use this additional metadata. But I prepared, as I mentioned within the demo, some other, let's say, scenarios for you, just to, let's say, get a feeling how powerful NPL is within the migration context. Okay, so that's about the module, about the capabilities, really on high level. And now we just want to talk a little bit about the services. So let's start with the first piece, and that's the migration services we provide. If you're not familiar with FME, so we're providing a lot of services around our product. So it's analyzing and planning the project. We do proof of concepts. We help with the project communication and change management. As I mentioned, we develop connectors for your dedicated purposes. We provide maintenance support for our product. We have training packages available. We do quality assurance during the migration project. We help you to monitor and create reporting about your migration. That includes also the validation documentation. And also, of course, we help you with installation and configuration of the product. And if you say, okay, now I don't need these elements, I need full service, so end-to-end migration. And you are not care about what kind of product has been used and so on. So then, of course, we also provide a full service package for our customers. So that's about the migration services we provide. And with that, I will hand over to Hannah, who will give you a short overview about our dedicated services around Amazon Comprehend.
Right. Thank you, Florian. Okay, so I'm Hannah. A little bit about myself. I'm a cloud consultant at Fmes, and I specialize in data-driven projects. And I am here today to tell you about machine learning in AWS, and specifically about Comprehend. And let me start by prefacing that FME has more than 5 years of AWS experience. We built architectures for various use cases, also in various industries, as well as we built enterprise-level architectures. Okay, so now about machine learning in AWS. First of all, you have to understand that AWS separates machine learning services into two categories, the actual machine learning and artificial intelligence. Machine learning services are those that help you develop your own data science applications. For example, you can see here SageMaker. You can use SageMaker to train complex machine learning models in the cloud, which is great. That means you can provision as much as processing power as you want, comparatively to training a model on your tiny work laptop. It's probably not so great of an idea. Also, there is SageMaker Ground Truth, which is a service that helps you create training data sets. It hires workers, actual people, to label your data for you and turn it into an accurate, labeled data set that you can train your model on. Obviously, there is many more services and machine learning department, and then there is artificial intelligence. And the main difference between the two is that AI services are fully managed. That means you do not need to build a production-ready sentiment analysis model to use Comprehend. All is already built for you. So yes, there is a Comprehend, for example. This is the one you've been introduced to before. There is Recognition, which is a service that recognizes objects and text in images and photos. Also, there is speech-to-text service called Polly, and there is Amazon Lex, which is what they use in Alexa. Alexa is basically Lex on steroids. Obviously, there is also many more services in artificial intelligence. That's a short introduction to that, and now let's talk about Amazon Comprehend. This explanation is going to be a little bit more geeky than what Florian has explained. Okay, and to begin with, by using custom classification, you can create an NLP, which is natural language processing model that can classify documents based on their sentiment. You train the model with your training data to teach it the sentiment. And because Comprehend can use transfer learning for training, amount of data you feed to the model doesn't really have to be big. You can just have a small data set. Also, you can create your own entity that you can later extract from raw documents. You can see here, for example, you can extract location, date, person from a PDF file, but you can also make it that way that you can, for example, extract a product code from your raw documents. Furthermore, you can make Comprehend industry specific by bringing your own dictionary to the table. Based on the dictionary, Comprehend can extract sentiment or an entity that is specific, for example, to a automotive industry. Right now, it is available in Ireland and Frankfurt. I mean, obviously in more regions, but those are more relevant to Germany. Then there is a new kid on the block, and it's called Amazon Comprehend Medical. Amazon Comprehend Medical uses advanced machine learning to accurately and quickly identify medical information, such as medical conditions, medication. Also, it can determine their relationship to each other, for example, medication and its dosage. It can also identify protected health information, which is PHI for short, such as name, age, medical record number. It is HIPAA eligible. It can also link detected entities to standardized medical knowledge bases through ontology linking operations. And to use Comprehend Medical, you don't really need any data at all. It's all out of the box. Right now, the closest region to Germany that is available is Ireland, but it's soon to be released in Frankfurt. Right. And that was a short bit about Comprehend Medical. And you might feel a little bit overwhelmed right now, but that's okay. Keep in mind that Fme is here to support you. We can support you with that. We can help you not only integrate machine learning and AI services into your application, we can also help you just through knowing these services, all kinds of machine learning and artificial intelligence services. And yeah, I guess that was a short bit about it. Florian, take it away.
Yep. So thanks a lot for this great explanation and some more detailed information about the services. So yeah, and with this, we are almost there. So I prepared a quick demo. Just to let you know, we want not to go into every single detail of the product, because that's definitely too much for a quick demo. So I just want to focus on the main, let's say, main important elements. And I believe the most important piece is really to see the source and the target at the end after the migration, to get a better understanding how, let's say, valuable this integration is for a migration project. So for that, let me switch to my desktop here. You should see now my desktop. So as you can see here, so that's the, yeah, this is the source system, let's say. So I use, as I said, so I will show you a quick demo about how to migrate a really unstructured file share into SharePoint online in this case, and create additional metadata, and create also a structure based, for example, on the content files. As you can see here, are a lot of different documents within this folder. There are some invoices, so there are concepts, there are quotes, there are some protocols from projects and so on, stored within this flat file system. And the purpose of the demo is to create a structured SharePoint, let's say, collection or SharePoint site with all these documents in it, and with a really, let's say, clear, context of those documents. So, and for that, let me switch to Migration Center. So that's the UI from Migration Center. As I mentioned, we are going to replace this within the next weeks to a web UI. This is still a fat client, but it will have the same capabilities in the web client as well. So, and the first step, as I mentioned, is to scan the source system. For that, I just opened the scanner section here, and as you can see, let's say the configurations I made with the demo tag, that's are the elements I like to use within the demo. So, and as I mentioned, so the first step is to scan the system with our standard, in this case, file system adapter. So you can create a new configuration for different systems. As you can see here, there are scanner for Documentum, eRoom, and so on. And you have for this dedicated for this file system scanner, you have a couple of different configurations. So it's the folder path, you can exclude files, you can calculate hash sum, you can extract some additional metadata from the documents itself. So there is the document summary, for example, which contains some information about the authors and so on. And you can have a lot of different configurations here. I will not go too much in detail for this piece. So I already scanned this file system just to save a little bit time, and the results after the scan looks like this. So we have all the documents listed here in this table. That's a common view within Migration Center. Every single row is a document in this case. So, and you can see here all our, I believe there was 50 documents in total. There is a hash value calculated based on the content. And you see all the standard attributes which are available within the file system, like the file extension, the file name. Is this file somehow hidden in the file system? There is the content location, so that means the path where the document is stored in the file system, the operating system, the owner name, permissions, and so on and so forth. So that's are the basic attributes you get. So, and the second step now to enrich this information with additional metadata from by using Amazon Comprehend, you just set up a new configuration. Let me open this configuration, and this configuration includes the public and private key to access to get the access to your Amazon Comprehend. You have to specify the S3 storage where you upload the text files and so on and so forth. And you can also have a lot of let's say configurations about, for example, OCR and so on and so forth. So there are many configurations possible. There's also another, let's say, configuration file which is especially used for the OCR capability, but I will skip that for now just to save time. But you can really configure the OCR engine within our product for your dedicated purposes or needs. Okay, so if you're done with this configuration, you also execute this module, and automatically Migration Center will extract the text from the files, upload the files to S3, and start let's say the jobs within Amazon Comprehend, and let's say retrieve the information and save the information within our product. So, and for that, to see the results, I just want to switch to another area which called the migration sets area. There are all the, let's say, configurations around the migration set, as I mentioned. So that's the organizational unit within Migration Center. And for every single migration set, you build up your transformation rules. But before I start I give you some more details about the transformation rule engine, I will show you the additional metadata. So for that, as you can see, there are 15 documents within this migration set. That's exactly the documents which we have scanned from the file system. And now I open the source attributes, and what you can see here is there are additional metadata available. So as you can see here, there is always a combination of two, let's say, attributes within Migration Center. So it's the value itself and the score, as I mentioned. So in this case, for example, here you can see that comes from a custom classifier, which let's say has been trained on our FME internal documents. So, and this returns, for example, the type. It is a protocol, a concept, an invoice, whatsoever. And as I mentioned, so you get the score. So that means you see, for example, this document, for example, is 100% in concept. And this is to 91% an invoice, and so on. The same you can see here for the language. Unfortunately, all documents are just in English, in German, sorry. So in this case, we'll have just the German language here. But also you see some more metadata, like the location, the organization, some persons, and yeah, and some other standard, let's say, metadata, which are provided by the file system scanner itself. So, but now the question is how to work with those additional documents and how to create a structured SharePoint site based on that information. And that's what I said. I will not go too much in detail here, but you can configure the transformation rule. And just for your convenience, I just, let's say, add the different, let's say, Amazon Comprehend elements to the name of the attribute. And as you can see here, for example, we have one attribute, it's FME_cities, which use the entity recognition feature from Amazon Comprehend to create to return the location, which Amazon, let's say, detected within the content. So, and I do some let's say some transformation here. I just remove some duplicates from that from this AWS location entity, and I did some mapping. So I just mapped cities, for example, and so on and so forth. So there are a couple of, let's say, configuration I made here. I did the same for the document category, which is the custom classifier. So I used the locations also to create the federal states within Germany here by using mapping lists. I just used the language detection capability to set FME language attribute, and so on and so forth. So, and when I'm executing, as I said, you can execute the transformation rules within Migration Center without importing the documents to the target system. And when I just transform now the documents by just clicking on Apply Transformation, you see the documents jumps from unprocessed to transformed. And now I can have a look to the processed objects or to the processed metadata. And as you can see, there's much more structure here. So you can see now there are cities, some are unknown because Comprehend was not able to detect, for example, a city with a let's say defined score. But you can, for example, also see here the document category, quotes, protocols, concepts, invoices. Some are, of course, are unknown. So then you have federal states, which are somehow related to this content. You have the language, German. You have the FME, so organization attributes. So it's kind of text about different, let's say, organizations, which has been mentioned in the document, and so on and so forth. So, and that's at the end the transformation. So, but the question is, how does that look like if I import this information into SharePoint? So, and for that, so let me first apply the validation. So that means we check the metadata and the values if they are really fit to the target system in let's say in terms of lengths and the type and so on. But you can see all the documents jumps to validated. And now I can import those documents. So let's have a look to the SharePoint. This is the SharePoint online site. Let me make sure that I'm still logged on. Okay. So, and I will import the documents in the structured way, in a structured manner, into this document collection. And for that, I just go to import, select the migration set, which I like to import, apply. So there are a couple of parameters which are related to SharePoint. So to the service to import the documents into SharePoint, and some other, let's say, configurations you can make, like you want to automatically, let's say, version the documents, or you want to create folders automatically, and so on and so forth. So, but let me just say okay and start the import. This, by the way, will take a few minutes because it's everything installed on my notebook at the moment. So, but let's have a look. But you can see now the process has started. So the first two objects are processed, and you can immediately see the results within the SharePoint site. And what you can see here now is, for example, I use the Amazon Comprehend results for our custom classifier, which again returns if it's a quote, an invoice, a protocol, and so on. And it creates automatically now a folder structure which has all the protocols now within the folder, and all the other attributes like the city, again the document type, the federal state, the language, some text about organizations, and so on and so forth. And that's the way how it works. There are some uncategorized documents, of course, because not, let's say, every, let's say, document could be processed, because that's mainly because we haven't trained the custom classifier much. So we have just trained it shortly with about 2,000 documents. So of course you can do a lot of, let's say, you can train the classifier much better to get much better results. But for this demo, we said that's good enough, just to show you how powerful it is. But that's what I said. You can see now there are all the invoices. That's still empty here, but there are the concepts, there are the quotes, and so on and so forth, with all the different metadata. So that's basically how it works. So I know that's quite overwhelming, because there are much more capabilities, and it's definitely much more to know about migrations and to understand the whole process in detail. But I believe the most important piece here is to see how we get from this unstructured file system with almost no metadata into this structured format within SharePoint. Okay, so that's for the demo, very quick. So, and now it's time to hand over back to Valerie, yeah, to guide us through some additional information.
Yeah, thank you, Florian and Hannah, for your presentation. At this point, I would like to inform you about our dedicated product website, which is migration-center.com. And on our website, you can find all important product features of Migration Center, as well as some interesting success stories of former customers. You can also take a look at our service portfolio and the resources we offer, like, for example, our former webinars as recordings and a Migration Center blog covering different migration-related topics. Most importantly, you can request a free trial version of Migration Center on our website. So if you would like to test Migration Center in your own system landscape, just request your 14 days valid free evaluation copy that is completely free of charge. And in addition, we would like to inform you about our next upcoming webinar, which is going to be a deep dive into the new Migration Center web UI, Florian already mentioned. And this webinar will take place on July 29th at 10 a.m. EST or 4 p.m. CET, depending on where you are. With that being said, we arrived at the end of today's webinar. Thank you all for attending and watching. We hope to see you again soon, and we wish you a great day.